seriously, how difficult is it just to follow some basic instructions? Well, it turns out it's a lot harder than we thought, because these contestants simply could not help but break the rules. Like this contestant right here, who was in such a rush that he ended up picking the wrong plate. You know how they say haste is waste? Well, Jeremy Madden from season 12 learned it the hard way. Now, this dude is considered to be the king of kitchen disasters. And why do I say this? Because he actually earned this prestigious title without really putting much of an effort. Simply said, Jeremy was useless. If the fact that he couldn't cook wasn't enough, the lead cook from Los Angeles very efficiently managed to mess up the blue team's entire day. Not like Ray Alongi, who dropped the eggs and blamed the poor pans for it, was any better. But Jeremy was worse. Do you guys remember Jeremy's lack of communication that made Gordon lose his mind? First off, this dude couldn't hear the order, and when Gordon asked him about it, he straight up confessed that he didn't. I mean, the balls on this guy. He had the audacity to stand up to Gordon when he couldn't even make croissants properly. Just look at him standing there doing absolutely nothing. What was up with him? Did he blank out or something? Well, one thing I know for sure is that Gordon was just as confused.
Breakfast.
Jeremy, walk!
Come round then, big boy!
Minutes later, Jeremy finally graced us with his presence and brought the croissant up to the pass. But hold it right there. Where's the smoked salmon now? Clearly, this guy loves to stir up trouble, which is exactly what he did. After standing and doing nothing, out of nowhere, Jeremy had this sense of urgency to get things over and done with, which is why he asked Dan Ryan for a plate to walk with, even though he wasn't yet done. And of course, Jeremy couldn't wait, because why follow the rules, right? When all the plates were lined up for the pass, Gordon noticed something fishy with one of them. And what do you know? It was Jeremy's plate that caught Gordon's attention. And this wasn't just any other plate, but one which was made an hour ago as a sample. Did Jeremy actually send a sample to the pass? How dense could he be? Did he even realize it was the sample? Gordon couldn't believe his eyes and gave him an earful.
Save lives on a daily basis, and you want to serve that. Jeremy! Damn!
This service was doomed from the beginning, because the mistakes weren't limited to Jeremy alone. Back in the Red Kitchen, Janelle Witt and Cindy were doing all right, until Nidra Harris ruined it by sending out Benedict eggs with soggy bread. Gordon wondered why she didn't use the freshly toasted bread right behind her, but this lady had no good answer. Instead, she came up with another lame excuse.
Visually, you don't know that's not toasted.
I didn't see it when it went down, Chef, but I got another one coming.
Meanwhile, Ray continued his antics when he couldn't even season his scrambled eggs properly. And just when Gordon thought he'd seen it all, Jacqueline Valdassari messed up her very first pancake, and this made Gordon flip.
I got him, Chef. I think you need a doctor right now.
Despite all that, Jacqueline continued to make pancakes that were either burnt or too dark. And there was only one thing you could do with them: toss them in the bin. When both the teams were on their last order, Jacqueline burned another pancake. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Jacqueline,
Yes, Chef.
it's a fucking breakfast. Come on.
Gordon was beyond fed up with the red team wasting pancake after pancake, and it was no surprise that they lost. They were a disaster throughout that night, but the drama that followed during the deliberations was epic. So Jacqueline and Mary Polnett screwed up big time and got nominated for elimination. They begged and pleaded for mercy, but surprisingly, Gordon decided to keep them both on the line. But wait, were you expecting a night without elimination? Guess again. There was one moron who committed an unforgivable mistake, and he had to be kicked off from the show. Can you take a wild guess? Of course it was Jeremy! His fate was sealed as soon as he walked in with that simple plate. But this next contestant had no shame about breaking Gordon's rules and tarnishing his reputation. However, despite all that, he continued to remain in the damn competition and wasn't even eliminated. Can you believe that? In case you're curious, this next train wreck is from Season 8, Episode 2. Vinyakarti was supposed to be the Assistant Major D for the blue team that night. But no! After spending some time with Raj Branston, he just couldn't resist the urge to cheat like a freaking maniac. His memory was slower than a sloth, and he took 30 whole minutes to send his first ticket to Gordon. This caused Gordon to accuse him of trying to ruin the blue team's chances, but Vinny played innocent.
No, understand what you're doing. Own up to it.
Yes, Chef.
An hour and a half into the service, Vinny continued to slow the kitchen down. However, what he did next will absolutely blow your mind. Well, he totally disregarded the rules of being a major D and a waiter in general and decided to play God by choosing what the customers would eat. How about that for some top-notch service, huh? He suggested one of his tables to skip ordering sides, all because he had no faith in Raj. What a team player, I say. But surprise, James found out and snitched on him to Gordon. And oh boy, did Gordon get mad. Like, duh, obviously.
He said they could not have sides and entrees because it would take so long.
Vinny even got dragged into the kitchen, where he tried to lie his way out of it by saying he only suggested the table to skip the sides because they take too long to prepare. But the blame was on Raj, and so Gordon assumed he was probably the one who made this ridiculous suggestion. But Gordon had to be sure, and so asked Raj whether he was the one who told Vinny to cancel the side orders, to which this is how Raj replied.
Face, you told him that. Don't push the sides so I look good.
I'm ready with the sides. Look, I got all the sides ready. I'm waiting for them.
Oh no. This is just one of those rare moments when Raj was getting berated when it wasn't even his fault. He was left wondering what went wrong this time, when he actually had everything ready to go. See, I know Raj was a headache to everyone, but for the first time ever, he was actually not wrong this time. Luckily for him, Vinny eventually admitted that he just wanted to screw Raj over. This guy was acting way too oversmart, and I doubt he'll ever change his attitude, since what he did was absolutely wrong. He deserved to face the consequences for his stupid mistake, which is exactly what happened.
Get out!
Yes, sir.
How satisfying was that, huh? But Vinny wasn't done yet. Once again, he dared to blame Raj for not preparing the parsley. Damn, Vinny! You should stop trying to look like a victim in your own crime now. And that's not it. I'm so surprised as to why Vinny didn't get nominated for elimination that night. Like, seriously. I was more annoyed at Vinny that day than anyone else. And I think Gordon felt the same too, because out of nowhere, he called him out.
Oh, right to recommend to the guests not to have a side with an entree.
Surprising how he survived elimination, because had it been for me, it would have been his last day on the show. Several viewers too felt the same way about him. He had absolutely no right to instruct customers what to order. It was Gordon's restaurant, and since he put the famous chef's reputation on the line, he deserved to be eliminated on the spot. As for me, I was seriously ticked off by Vinny's little power trip, acting like he's the big cheese of the restaurant. Who the hell does he think he is? Deciding what's allowed in the kitchen and what's not. Gordon was right to call him out on that BS. But this next smarty pants from season 1 thought he could impress Gordon by taking a shortcut. But you know how that ends, right? You see, the only rating I can give to Andrew Benito's cooking skills is average or mediocre. If it wasn't for his constant disagreements with Gordon, he would have been a tad bit more bearable to watch. Although he did eventually improve, it wasn't enough to save himself from getting eliminated. What happened is, after the blue team lost the blind taste test, they had a 2-part punishment. Along with washing the entire restaurant's dishes, they also had to unlock the storage room throughout the service, which would obviously slow them down as compared to the red team. It was seriously a killer punishment, but of course, Andrew just had to be Mr. Smarty Pants and tried to cheat his way out of it by doing this.
Just fucking do it up. Just give me the mask. Oh, I gotcha.
Like, I understand you've got extra brains, but you should have used it in the right place. And guess who caught him in the act? No, not Gordon this time. It was sous chef Scott.
Get that fucking tape off of there. And think I'm fucking stupid?
Like, seriously? Who does that? It's not like they don't have enough to worry about dinner service already. And now we get to see sous chef Scott lose his cool for the first time ever?
Guys, fuck it up. You get a punishment. You don't fucking rig it so it works for you. You blew it, pay the consequences. Got it? Yes, sir.
Great, just what we needed. Some say Andrew was intelligent enough to come up with this idea to save time. But come on, it's just a small code, and you've got 3 members to remember it, in case one forgets. In simple words, Andrew was just being lazy. The sous chef then put the tray of chicken back in the storage room, and guess what? The team had to start from scratch again. Can you believe that? The entire team was punished for one member's stupidity, and Andrew turned out to be just one of those few contestants who got punished for doing the punishment wrong.
Andrew, give me a jacket.
But in this thrilling episode from season 4, a genius chef pulled off a successful trick on the sous chef, making a fool out of him. Damn, that requires a lot of guts. But will he be able to get away with it? Okay, so coming back to our genius chef, Louis Petroza was handling the appetizer station during the dinner service, and everything seemed to be going well. As the clock ticked on and tensions rose, Petroza remained a bastion of support and skill for his fellow chefs. But then LaRosa Draylen made a mistake, which led to sous chef Scott giving him an earful.
Fucked it up, you didn't cook it right, and you're trying to get it by me.
When LaRosse sent overcooked steaks back to the kitchen, Petroza fearlessly dove in to help, scouring the kitchen for perfectly cooked steaks with no success. But he didn't give up. No, Petroza was a chef who took risks. With nothing to lose, he did this.
We had to show the face of the beef.
He just sliced off the burnt edges of the beef? That was a good move though. But Lou Ross had no faith in what this guy was doing. But then it seemed that Petroza was a master in stuff like this. In the end, Petroza's ingenuity paid off, and he successfully fooled sous chef Scott into believing that the steaks were perfectly cooked.
I'm gonna nominate myself, chef. I can't pick any of these.
As the night wore on, Petroza's energy and drive never flagged. He remained focused on his duties and was always ready to help his teammates. Indeed, Petroza was a culinary hero, a shining star in the heat of the kitchen for his team. However, I cannot disregard the fact that he violated the rules, but this next contestant decided to use the canned sauce in the very first challenge of the competition. This looks like it's going to be the best signature dish ever. Sadly, it wasn't. During the signature dish challenge in the first episode of season 14, when everyone got busy in showcasing their best skills and to impress Gordon, Monique Booker thought, nah, let's play it easy and quick. Monique was the final member of the red team to have her dish judged by Gordon, and she presented Moe's pasta. Like, seriously? When Gordon asked about her marinara sauce recipe, she spilled the beans that she'd used a pre-made sauce from a jar. And ta-da! Gordon's reaction was priceless.
From a jar.
I mean, are you even a chef when you can't even cook your own damn sauce by yourself? But hold on, Monique had the nerve to defend herself and claim that there was nothing wrong with using canned sauce. Because who has the time to make it from scratch, except if you're a real Italian?
I don't think there's anything wrong with canned sauce, unless you're from fucking Italy.
Damn, this lady is unbelievable. She even had the audacity to argue with Gordon on the very first challenge. Can you believe the nerve of this woman?
I wanted it, you should have just told me. I would have did it. You
Oh, I've got to tell you what I want.
Yes.
However, I was totally caught off guard when Gordon was generous enough to give her dish a whopping 1 point.
1 out of 5.
Okay, got it.
Well,
With her terrible attitude, I thought she'd be out of the competition before she even stepped foot in the kitchen. Quite expectedly, Monique continued to be a complete disaster. She was supposed to handle the meat station with Christine Hazel, but turns out she couldn't even turn on the darn oven. And if that wasn't bad enough, she went on to serve raw lamb and pork that was as dry as a desert. Impressive, huh? The Master of Shortcuts managed to get nominated for elimination not once, not twice, but thrice. What a feat, I say. And you know what? When asked by Gordon why she deserved to be in Hell's Kitchen, this is what she had to say.
Because I'm better than these two. Under pressure, she breaks down like this is serious.
Eventually, the red team made it crystal clear that they had enough of her. But hey, at least now Monique can now rely on all the canned sauce she wants without having to worry about cheating Gordon, right? But here comes the male version of Monique Booker. This one too loved to take shortcuts, but borrowing rice from his teammate and presenting it as his own dish? That's ridiculous. Let's talk about Adam Laval from season 14, who ended up in 10th place. He started off strong in the signature dish challenge and even managed to impress Gordon with his first dish, scoring a clean 4 points. But then things went downhill. On the third day, Gordon came up with a crazy challenge for the Alaskan Fish Challenge, where they had to match fish heads to their tails. Sounds simple, right? Nope. You wonder why? Take a look at this.
the fish have been split in half. The fish heads are in one pool, and the fish tails are in the other pool.
Since the heads and tails were in different icy ponds, it's not easy to tell a trout from a salmon or a cod from a halibut when they're cut in half. Millie Medley and Adam Laval were partnered together, and in the beginning, Adam expressed his concern saying this.
We got down there because as soon as I touched that cold water, woo! Had to chew that back.
Come on, Adam, stop complaining about ice being cold. The blue team eventually won and got a 5-minute head start, but it didn't do much for Laval. He couldn't keep up, even with the advantage. What happened is, while the blue team was working hard to impress Gordon, Laval realized he wouldn't be able to make his rice on time and needed some help from his partner.
I got that. Yeah.
How thoughtful, right? That's what teammates are all about. But this move backfired real bad. You see, Laval and Medley were the last pair to present their dish to the guest judge, Michael Cimarusti. Laval's pan-seared halibut with grilled baby bok choy and basmati rice was quite impressive, and he managed to impress Judge Cimarusti. But then Medley presented his dish of halibut francaise butter with bell pepper rice, and surprise, surprise, both the dishes had rice on them. How could that be? As the judge started to voice his suspicions, Laval's face turned pale. Oops, looks like someone just got caught.
You guys share on that one, or?
And of course, Gordon wasn't going to let this slide. He quickly joined in on the suspicion and asked Laval if he had borrowed Medley's rice. What a clever little scheme they had going there. And to everyone's disbelief, this is what Laval had to say.
Yes, sir.
Gordon wasn't fooled by his games, and Laval knew he had to come clean. He had no choice but to confess that he used Medley's rice, which meant the dish wasn't entirely his. What a shame! Laval's dish was actually good enough to win the challenge for his team, and he even had a 5-minute head start, but he just had to cheat and give the point away to the red team. As a result, the blue team lost the challenge, and was punished by being forced to take part in the seafood delivery day and prep fish for the following service.
We have halibut that 3 people have to carry. We got red snapper that we have to scale and gut.
And after a long and tiring day, guess what the team was offered for lunch?
I don't care, I'm hungry and I need something to eat.
I mean, peanut butter and jelly fish.
Yikes, what a lovely lunch! Laval should have seriously cooked his own rice and spared his team and himself of this horrendous punishment. So these were some of the times when chefs broke the rules on Hell's Kitchen. But who knows? There may be more chefs who break the rules and get away with it in the future. Speaking of which, if you're looking for more amazing content just like this video here, make sure to smack that like button, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. Also, make sure to check out the video on the screen right here. It's even crazier than this one.